All right. Hi, everybody. So I did it right this time. Oh, and I didn't fix my hair. Next, let me fix my hair. Go ahead, why for this live stream, and since I probably will end up getting a lot of views, I just want to need to go live instead of making videos and then editing them. It just takes so much time, and I just don't have it right now. And so it's like I can go live and talk about the stuff I want to talk about, which, the videos with people sitting and talking get a lot of views anyway. And I got a lot of stuff to say that I usually don't have time to say in the videos that I edit and stuff. And so I'm gonna go for it. So today, especially since I've been talking about making this video for a while and it's just made it right now, honestly. If you look at it real quick, you see how you just kind of, I mean, I know it's not real, obviously, but all you do is really have to tuck them. You tuck them and they kind of hold on to themselves. They hold on to each other. It's like that, we just kind of push it up against themselves and it sticks. It's like my favorite hair, the mouth, because you don't have to do all that pinning and spritzing and gluing and stuff. But yeah, we're going to talk about what was in the thumbnail and what's in the comments. I mean, not in the comments, but in the description, which is, well, locks too big or too small always break, which I'm going to go into a little bit more into depth about. And then also um, why I don't do wicks and why I don't do sister locks, which pretty much is the same thing. I need 2 seconds. Look at my little baby hairs. My edges don't grow, so I don't grow them. I don't put a lock on there because it's just gonna break it and it's gonna hurt. So I want to try to keep my hair. So glad you're here. Yeah, I got some time between clients, so figured I would go ahead and make this live because I got some more shorts that I want to upload, but I wanted to make a long video, but I don't have any long content to make a long video. So I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about this because I've been meaning to talk about it for a while anyway. And somebody's trying to book an appointment, but oh, here we go. And make sure you send your deposit and we're good to go. And what is your name? It says, I don't know who that is. Okay, wait. And I need your name though. I need your name to book you in. And then that's that. And then I gotta book this appointment. See, it's just never a dull moment where I can just get on live and just be talking or get where I just have free time to make videos. It's like a lot. It's a lot. So let's get into it. So um sister locks. The teeny tiny, they're calling them now micro locks. They're always coming up with a new name. Whenever something kind of starts dying out, they come up with a new name and try to respin it as like it's something good for you. Or I mean, I guess they can spin it as something cute because I think micro locks and sister locks are cute. Um, and even though they're time consuming and expensive, if they were oh, ooh, okay, good to know. Thank you, Brandon. All right, let me see what I can do about because I don't I don't I'm not super savvy with this stuff, which, I have to get there. I don't know what this means, but tell me if this is better. Can I just change something? I don't know what it really means. But tell me if it's better. Okay. Yes. Do you hear it? Okay. Oh, you said it's better? Awesome. All right, cool. So sister locks. Sister locks are I think they're cute. Um,
But I did do them back in the day. I used to do them, and ultimately I only did maybe 3 heads because it wasn't really popular when I was, first starting out. But I found out, a few years after that they weren't really good for you, and so that's the really thing I think is the most important is that when you get certain styles, and especially things with locks, more permanent, when you get stuff like that, if you don't know what the future really holds for that, you know, you might get something that could potentially be harmful later on down the road. I think my biggest problem with the lock community, especially when it comes to sister locks and also wicks now, because that's a new thing that kind of been out for a couple of years now. It's like you guys don't know how that turns out. And the thing about it is that I do. When people start losing their sister locks in handfuls, like they have patches of hair this short, this round of, I don't know, that's probably like at least 20 or 30 sister locks that fall out in one little patch, and then that patch kind of spreads around the head. Nobody is going online. They're not going online showing, hey, look, my sister locks fell out in a patch. They're not going online and saying, hey, my wicks, my hair just won't stop growing ever since, I keep trying to redo my wicks, but it just won't grow anymore. They're not coming online and telling y'all that. They're going online and showing when they get it started and going online and showing, how they look with their outfit and their hairstyles, but they're not showing you when the hair starts to fall. Guess who they're showing? When the hair starts to fall, they call me. When the hair starts to have problems, they call me. When they can't find, when the lady that started the sister locks or the lady that started the wigs is nowhere to be found because all of her clients' hair is falling out and she doesn't know what to do, they call me. And I can't fix a lot of that stuff. Like sister locks, there are some things I can fix, but with wicks, there's nothing that I can fix when it comes to the point where they stop growing, which that's what happens with wicks. The hair is traumatized. So both situations is kind of traumatizing on the hair. So with sister locks, every time you get new growth, you're supposed to get those locks retightened at the scalp. And I know the more time you put between it, the more they're charging you to do it. And I think it's upwards of 250, $275 just to get it done. And and that's every month. You need to get that done every month. If you go 2 months, they raise the price. If you go 3 months, they really raise the price. And that's, you're definitely going to see some breakage there. And then a lot of times those locks will mat together. And as it starts to get long, the lady doing the sister locks doesn't tell you, but she starts connecting them because she sees the damage that happens. When you have 3 or 4 strands, the sister locks are teeny tiny, micro locks are teeny tiny locks, and they have 3 or 4 strands per lock. Your hair is shedding every day. That's on the wall too. Your hair sheds 50 to 100 strands, like your whole head, 50 to 100 strands a day are shedding somewhere. If you have a lock that's being held by 3 strands of hair, and 2 of those hairs happen to shed off, and your hair is locked, so you're carrying extra weight of other hairs that have shed off over time, that one hair is not going to be strong enough to hold on to the weight of that lock. It's just going to snap. And what happens is it'll shed heavy in an area. Somebody will scratch. I mean, you'll just do some normal natural movements and scratch your head, and then boom, sister locks are just popping off because they're barely hanging on. There's not enough hairs there to sustain the shedding, which is the natural order of things. The hair has to shed every day. It's just what it is. You're not going to be able to change that. And when you don't have enough hair holding on to what to collect the hair that sheds, because the hair's going to shed. You can you don't have to experience breakage, but if you only have 3 or 4 strands going on to each lock, eventually, yeah, that's going to get too heavy for the hairs that are left over when some shedding happens, and it's just going to pop, and they pop off in little round sections. The hair be this short. They asked me to fix it. The only thing I can do, and that's with sister locks. With sister locks, I actually can affect changing them, but that bald spot, you have to wait for that hair to grow, which it usually takes a long time. I've seen it take like 6 months to get long enough to even reattach. Because when you reattach those locks, there has to be enough hair there, and it be traumatized from those few strands hanging. It gets heavy. Uncles don't like to be pulled like, and so, they'll come to me, they'll have a bald spot. I will go and say, well, we're to prevent this from happening all over your head because it's on a path to happening all over your head. It's shedding every day. So we're on your head. So prevent it from happening anymore, we'll take 2, 3, sometimes 4 of the sister locks and glue them together, twist them together as if they were one so that they can lock in a stronger position. And we'll do that all over the head. But like I said, the bald spot is a bald spot until it grows, and then you can reattach some locks or whatever you want to do to make it match the rest of it. You just have to wait for it to grow out. But and then depending on where that spot is, you have to try to style it in such a way that covers the spot while it grows. And so a lot of people I've seen with sister locks will just go and cut their whole, they'll just cut all their hair off. They'll just cut all of it to match the short spot and just let it grow. They've done the big chop before. Most of the time, women that have done the sister lock journey is because they've done the natural hair journey and then they've done they were doing the twist outs and the style and stuff, and then they did their sister locks. And so um, once they find that bald spot, they're okay with just cutting it off, but they've usually had their sister locks maybe 5 or 6 years. And so that's the thing is that a lot of people don't know about it because once they've had their sister locks 5 or 6 years, then they just bust out with a short haircut. They're not telling anybody that all that their hair was falling out in patches and that they had to cut it all off. But they do tell me. I get to see it firsthand, and so I know that that is not what you wanna do. Like, sister locks is dangerous, micro locks is dangerous. Like, it's cute, it looks nice, but ultimately, it's gonna lead to bald spots, so that's why I stopped doing it. I just stopped doing it altogether. I'm like, "You know what? It's dangerous. I don't wanna be the person that caused this. I don't wanna be having to fix problems that I created." Ultimately, that's the same thing with wicks. When wicks came out, any of my clients that had long hair already, they were like, "Can we connect these?" And I was like, "No." We're not doing that. We're not doing that because did we grow it all out so it can just break off? I mean, you can get a haircut and trim it up and it can be shorter, but to wick it all up is like saying, well, I want my hair to stop growing and then fall out in a couple years. Because taking your locks that have been healthy, that you've been taking care of for years, and then turning them into wigs is like saying, okay, I'm done. I'm done with locks now because ultimately they're gonna be gone. You're gonna lose them. And I hate to say it, but yeah, you know that's what happened with Lil Wayne. Nobody knows that's what happened to his locks. That's what happened to his lock. It's like even like Jay-Z started with the freeform thing, and so he had multiple locks at first, but since he wasn't separating them and stuff, they started locking together as wigs. Like now, I think he's got 5. If he still even got them, I think that they might be gone by now. But if he still even has them, they're hanging on by a thread. The curl pattern, that's another thing on the wall. Curl pattern determines lock size. And so if here's the thing with sister locks now, because there may be some exceptions to the rule as far as those breaking off after 5 or 7 years, but it's only for the people that have super, super tight, like super, super, super tight curl pattern. Like if you have that super tight, I'm not talking 4C, I'm talking tighter than 4C. Everybody's 4C. Like I'm talking about so tight that everything you do breaks no matter what you do. Those curl patterns can do sister locks and probably keep them for 10 years. Um, but nobody else. And so similar situation with wicks. If you have that really loose, big curl, which we're talking probably mixed or closer to the Caucasian side, if you have that really, really loose curl, then you can have big locks that you can maintain naturally. They're not as big as they, but they do have those big 5 big ones. And so ultimately what happens is that the hair is stretching, the curl. You got curl stretching to reach like this big line area, you got curl reaching hard. Like the curl is tight, it's trying to sit right here. You got it reaching all the way over here. You might be a better candidate for sister locks than fixed, but you're taking this super tight curl and stretching it as far as you can to these big areas. That hair is back into where it's trying to sit. So if it ends up being shorter, it doesn't care. If it ends up just being afro now, it doesn't care. It's going to pull back to where it's sitting comfortable at. And so ultimately, putting the wicks in your hair is just, even if you do it from your afro, you're just going to end up losing a couple years. You're not going to get that many years. I made a video not that long ago. I don't know, maybe a year, maybe a little over a year because it was not when I broke my ankle. A little bit over a year, I made a video about Kodak Black and about how he had made some posts and stuff saying he was like depressed and suicidal. I don't know what is wrong with that. I don't know. Am I not loud enough? Maybe I need to talk louder because I didn't change anything this time, and it's Hopefully the same mic. I think it is. You might get the last one. I don't even know. I wouldn't know what to do until we let me see if it change this up back. Change it back to the other camera. I need to get it. Oh, you know what? That's sad. I have a microphone that I bought for this. I don't know why it's not here. I'm gonna have to bring that up here. I'm gonna have to get me a little setup at this desk so that I can do because this is where I'm gonna have to be doing videos from now on. I don't have to. I'm gonna know if I'm gonna have to do it in the mornings before anybody gets here, or like slow days like today, or if I have to do it in the evenings after we close. But it's gonna have to be here because child trying to record at my house and it is entirely too loud around the thing. What'd you say? It's fine now. That's what I'm saying. I switched it to the other one. Apparently, both of them work for a time, but then they go out. Yeah, that is so sad. You know what? It probably is the connection. I just switched to AT&T, and they're supposed to be better than Comcast, but I don't know. I've yet to see that. I do have AT&T at my house now, and it's way better than Comcast was. But I just switched to AT&T at the salon, and so far it's kind of we gonna see. I'll give it a little bit of time. I was not experiencing a good time with Comcast either, but so where was I? Oh, about the wicks. Okay, so yeah, the afro is not trying to reach really far away from where it grows at. And it's going to pop itself back. It's gonna pop, it's gonna break off from the wick and grow and it stick out from where it's growing at. It wants to be growing, it wants to be in the spot that it's growing in. So if you don't match the locks up to the size and you try to force hair to go where it doesn't want to reach, it's gonna go back where it wants to go. And so what I see with people that get the wicks is that, they'll get that hair will snap off and it'll break off of this big huge thing, and then they'll reattach that hair and they use that hook. It's a crochet hook, and that hook is damaging to your scalp and your follicles and to the hair that is locked because it's basically ripping it up. So basically, if they go and take the hair that's at the scalp, which hasn't grown a lot usually because it's already traumatized from even doing that, and then it's traumatized from having to break itself off just to get comfortable again, and then you go and you reattach it again with that hook, and you're doing all this matting and ripping and matting and ripping, and so the hair is just like, after a few rounds of that, the hair is just like, okay, well, we're done. And it just stops growing. I mean, I'm talking about stops growing. The wicks slowly, slowly towards the scalp start to break off until they're literally hanging on by what looks like they're hanging on by a thread. Ultimately, what they're hanging on to is the amount of hair that you can comfortably have in a lot. The rest of it is not going to reach and it's going to pop off and it's just going to leave you with these big things that are barely hanging on by a thread, which is what I'm sure Jay-Z has right now. They're barely hanging on by a thread and your hair won't grow. There's not enough hair left to reattach because it's been all ripped up and short. It just stops growing. And so eventually you can't do anything with the wicks but cut them off. And so, no, I'm not doing that. Here, no, it's your life. If you want to do stuff that makes your hair fall off, that is your business. You're welcome to do it, which is why, I try not to preach when people ask me for that. I just try to be like, no, it's not healthy. I don't do that. I need to tell them that it's not healthy just in case they do care about that, because some people do care about their hair being healthy and growing. Ultimately, I don't think you should grow your hair past your butt really because it does start to get heavy. And I know you've seen people that thin. Everybody that gets locks does not thin out like that. Only the people that let it get too heavy for their, I mean, if you notice any thinning, it's time to trim it. Get a haircut. If your hair is 40 inches and you cut 6 inches off, you still got 34 inches. Not that great at math. You still got 34 inches hair. Like you could literally cut it down to 25 inches and it would still be down past your bra. And you could still have really long hair without having it so long that it's heavy and now causing problems. But ultimately, having long hair is a responsibility. And there are things that you have to do. And so I want you to have long hair, or at least I want everybody that sits in my chair to have long hair. So I just don't do stuff that I know is going to lead to them not having long hair, especially since the way that locks break is so much more, I mean, traumatizing. I mean, I guess having short hair for my whole life was kind of traumatizing. I didn't have short hair for my whole life, but there was times when I was taking care of it that it was not growing right. But having short hair for your whole life is traumatizing. But at, um, the other stuff we used to do to our hair, like the braids and the ponytails and the gel and the spritz and all the really tight styles, that kind of left, that took some follicles out. So that's kind of what really heavy hair will do. But it also, kept our ends broken. And so when your ends are constantly breaking, you don't ever get to see your hair get long. But I feel like breaking locks is really traumatizing because you've already done all this work to get your hair long. Whether you grew it out with an afro before you started your sister locks, or whether you started your locks and grew them out for a long time and then turn them into wicks. Nobody's usually growing their hair to see it break off at the root. And that's like what's most traumatizing, I think, about it is that unlike, the loose styles that we used to wear where we had to comb it and relax it and gel it and spritz it and all the stuff that broke the ends off real bad. Um, Locks break off when they're done wrong, they break off at the root. They break off down at the scalp, and so you end up with a missing lock or multiple missing locks, or just loose hair all around all the time because it won't stay connected. It won't stay connected because it doesn't want to reach that far. It won't. The micro locks won't stop matting together because they're trying to be stronger. They're trying to be bigger. So I have a client that should be showing up now, and I think I got everything I wanted to say. I should have wrote more notes. But yeah, I hope this video is helpful to somebody. I really feel bad for anybody that has already done wicks or done starter sister locks and didn't know what the future holds. But it's not the end of the world. The beautiful thing about hair is that it grows. And so all you have to do is start doing the right things and it'll just start growing. And it'll be happy to grow and it'll be easy. You won't have to do anything. You drink some water, eat some vegetables, you just keep your hair covered at night. It's a breezy life. But there are some rules to locks. There are. And I know that at this point, I'm just preaching because I've said the same things over and over again for over a decade. I've only been saying it on YouTube for a couple of years now, but I wish that I could do more. I wish that I could be on YouTube more. And I think I'm going to figure out a way to get used to this live streaming thing. And I'm probably going to be taking like questions so that people can come on and ask me questions that they have about their hair specifically. It might be a situation where you want to show me something, you're going to have to get on the camera, show me. We can discuss it live. Um, and I'm going to try to make sure I make time for this uh, regularly, but I can't make promises for time because I'm super busy. I just opened up another salon and my client's here. So I am going to let you guys go. I'll meet you at the shampoo bowl. Yeah. And hope this video was helpful to somebody. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. See you tomorrow, Brandon. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Later.